Well, good morning again, everybody. Welcome to the Team Excellence Call. This is Lynn Gardner. I'm calling in from beautiful but rainy Virginia. We've had more than our fair share of rain this year, and I guess we had so little snow. In the winter, I guess the rain is making up for it. The earth needs water, just like we do, right? And it needs to get it one way or the other. Sometimes it's snow, sometimes it's rain, but moisture needs to come to the earth, so we are grateful for it. We had a storm, a massive storm raged through here last night. And this morning, I was looking out, at the fields and some fallen limbs and some flooding going on. And I was so grateful for the protection that only comes from my God. We'll be having another serious storm, at least they say, sometime today or tonight. And there's supposed to be really high winds and a whole lot more rain with it. So we already have flash flood warnings in place. I'm busy praying for my protection, right? The storms inspired my spiritual message this morning online as I considered the way we handle the storms in life, whether they're small storms or the big storms. It's very telling in terms of the way we'll handle the bigger ones, how we handle those little ones, right? It all determines the outcome. So the storm inspired the message today entitled, When a Storm Passes By. There are all kinds of storms, again, that every single person endures in a lifetime. Nobody gets away from the storms. Some of them are little storms. Some of them are just incredibly, more like tornadoes, but we're not going to get out without the storm. I'm at the season of my life and I have an understanding, and I know with certainty that every storm has a purpose. I'm grateful for everyone. I don't want to relive them necessarily, but I'm definitely grateful because it's built my character and my strength and my endurance and my perseverance, all because of those storms. But it's the way we handle the large and the small, again, that will determine our character, and it will determine the outcome more than you possibly could imagine. It's not the storm that matters much at all, to be honest with you, whether it's small or it's large. It feels like it matters a lot when it's a big storm, but it's how we handle the storm. We don't just push and forge through it. We actually endure it and we grow. Some people hit the storms and life, the little storms, if you will, a flat tire, maybe a broken ankle, and they never lift a finger to change their circumstances, really, right? They begin to whine and complain, and that's where they find their comfort and their identity in the midst of that storm. You see, they're not really doing anything about the circumstances. They're finding all of their identity and everything in just complaining. When they're stuck in whining and complaining mode, they aren't putting forth any effort toward repairing whatever damage there might be, if you will, because they're finding that the only thing they really need is to chime in about it, whining and complaining. It's as if the more they complain about the circumstances, the more likely it is to change. But it doesn't work that way at all, does it? You can't see victory, and you won't build your character if you find yourself whining through those storms, small or large. Some people throw in the towel the minute they see a sign of a storm. Man, they quit before victory, and they'll quit before success. They throw it in like a child saying, I'm going to take my ball and go home, because they don't have the stay power to endure the storm. They don't determine to see victory, and they don't bother building their character. It's always something or someone else's problem, and they want to hold something else responsible for the storm itself, and they never learn a thing in a journey because, see, they don't look inward. Again, I'm at this place in my life, and I've seen all kinds of adversity, and when I get struck with adversity, I'm not talking about a storm or a flat tire or something like that, but something big waves through my life, I hit my knees so fast, I bruise them, because I want to know, what is my role in this? I don't want to stay here for long, right? I don't like sticking in the storm. So I want to know what my role is and what's expected of me to get through that storm. That's the kind of go power, stay power that we need to do. But again, they'll always find, those people find somebody else. They've something, and eventually they'll find something else to cling to. In our world, that would be they hop from this business to another business. They quit. I'm taking my ball and going home. They don't want to see any storm whatsoever, and they'll go someplace else until a storm shows up there. And then they'll bounce around almost like an unfaithful person, right? From this to this to this. These people are like a ship lost at sea. It has no direction, and the rudder isn't pointing any way, right? Sadly, we see a lot of those folks come and go in our business. And we always have, and we always will, because some people, at the first sign of a storm, any ripple at all, they quit and they move on. They might blame changes that we see, or lack of sales in their business, or they don't have the leadership they think they should have. But none of those things are the real cause. They have a quitting spirit, and they aren't inclined to accept their own responsibility in the process so that they can see victory and success. Some people haven't learned to conquer fear, and some are just negative because of it. One little thunder boom sends them running for fear. They duck under the bed like a coward, right? And they turn that thunder boom into a nor'easter in their minds as they conjure up more and more, much more to the storm than really exists at all. And they hide under the bed at the first sign of adversity, and they don't come out until they can figure out what else they can hide under when they get out, right? It's like a groundhog sticking its head up out of the ground. Fear is a killer, and fear is what holds us back from success in every single area of life, from having meaningful relationships to raising your family, to being usable in your church, and to our business and our success. Despite all the messages that we hear day after day, really, on the importance of conquering fear, there are still more people that aren't conquering it, aren't trying to conquer it, aren't working to work. They're too afraid to even conquer it, right? They're stuck in fear. Life changes. There's nothing that's ever truly consistent, right? That's the one thing that makes life so exciting and so amazing. There's no day is the same. It's forever changing. And it's the main cause of storms in and out of our business. When we see just a little bit of change, we're going to see the true character of people. Most people don't like change. Really, and the older you get, I think the more inclined we are to say, I don't like change. But we can't change the fact that things are going to change. So most people don't like it, and they react to unwanted change in one of the ways I just described every single time, until they learn that there's a whole lot of learning and growing that comes through the storms. And until they learn that all storms, small storms and large storms, they all have a purpose in life. We're hearing ripples here and there in our business because of some very necessary changes. Omar alluded to them a couple days ago, and those changes have to be implemented. And Enagic hasn't lost credibility. Mr. O is not trying to take anything away from any of us. He's not trying to make us miserable. He's not trying to be unfair. But sometimes in business, especially when you're seeing tremendous growth, some things have to change. Sometimes, especially as that business grows and more people find their way to this amazing opportunity we have, only to try to work the system more in their favor, right? There's nothing ever good enough for those people. They're like insatiable. They'll take a great plan, and instead of just savoring it for the good things that it is, they try to work it to their benefit. And sometimes people working the system forces every company into making some changes. We're in the midst of a perfect storm right now in terms of opportunity. I did a call on that recently. I got to tell you, if you've got anybody looking at this business, you might want to point them to my YouTube and listen to that message on the perfect storm. Everything is directing people looking to build a business to this business. And the way we handle that storm will be a good indicator of our character. Well, people whine and complain about things they can't change. Will they find their comfort in the complaining? If so, and not only will they not endure that storm, but they'll make less money because of it, because they're too busy pointing fingers and all the reason they're not going to be successful, right? Whining and complaining, throwing in the towel, and hiding under the bed. You may not like hearing anybody's character described like that, but it's true when it comes to the storms. That's when you see the truest character, the go power, the perseverance, the determination is when a storm hits. If you find yourself doing any one of those things in any area of your life, you need to handle your storm a little bit differently. If you whine and complain, throw in the towel, or hide under the bed in your relationships, you don't really have relationships. You just have people in your life, or you're cohabitating, but you're really not going to endure it all. You're just going to exist. If you whine and complain, throw in the towel, or hide under the bed with your children, you won't have anything that resembles a healthy generation at the end of the day. You'll just be the older person living under a roof with younger people. If you whine and complain, throw in the towel, or hide under the bed in your church body, you're going to be one making a whole lot of noise and creating a whole lot of discouragement of your very own. And before long, you'll see a church split. If you whine and complain, throw in the towel, or hide under the bed in your business, you don't have a business, okay? You just have something to complain about. Business people, leaders, learn how to endure the storms, the small ones and the big ones. They learn how to prioritize changes, and they learn how to overcome the obstacles. They understand that when minor changes come into play like we have now, it's hardly the end of the world. It's actually a very good sign. They learn how to overcome obstacles. In our world, you'll see leaders learn how to talk to you about some of these changes so you understand them for what they are too. They learn how to persevere. They never throw the baby out with the bathwater, and they don't spend a minute letting the storm grow negativity within them. And not only that, they'll stay clear of you too, if that's what you want to do, right? So, they don't want to lose the opportunity of everything good they have. Again, like throwing that baby out with the bathwater. They don't exaggerate the problems or whine and complain, or at least not in public. I guess everybody whines sometime to somebody, but certainly not within our business and in public, right? They never, ever throw in the towel, and you won't find them hiding under a bed ever. We are all part of something incredible that not everybody will be around to see, unfortunately. Some will do that whining and complaining until they turn blue with every single change they see that they don't like, and they'll do their best to drag everybody down with them. We've all heard the cliche that says misery loves company, and you can see that when you see people get unsettled. Don't spend a second around these people. Don't turn yourself blue trying to turn them back around. You deserve more out of life, and you deserve more out of this business. Other people will throw in the towel, and they'll contact you one day very soon about the very best product that ever hit the market. It's the best thing since sliced bread. It's the best financial opportunity you've ever seen. They're just catching another wave, right? And they want to bring you along with them with every wrong excuse for why they left. Don't spend a second listening to their rhetoric about their new product, their new opportunity, or whatever else they're spinning. We already have, with Enagic, with this compensation plan with our product, we already have as close to perfect as you're ever going to get if you're launching a business, right? If you can't find success with this company, with this model, with the training, with the leadership, the profound products, and the comp plan, you're not going to find it anywhere, okay? So it never comes down to that. There is no perfect anything in life. Character comes into play when you can accept that. And victory comes into play when you learn to endure the little storms right along with the big storms, and you refuse to quit. Again, when I look out at the drenched farm and I think, oh my goodness, here comes rain again, I have to stop myself and I imagine all the beauty, the green and the growth, everything is so rich and beautiful that will all come because of the rain. So I focus more on what's coming because of that storm instead of it being in the eye of the storm. Every storm in life has a purpose, and it's never the storm, again, that matters the most. It's how we handle the storm. So as we see change here and there, necessary things that are part of every growing business as they adapt, we need to accept it for what it really is. Examine our character, check the pulse of our character, keep our mouth shut about things that we think are negative, and have an attitude adjustment yourself. Refuse to quit. Conquer your fear. Which one are you? Where will you find yourself? Persevering to success, or will you allow yourself to quit? Will you work on your character? If you're inclined to be any one of those, the whining, complaining, quitting, or hiding under the bed, you can do something about that. I've told my story too many times to go over it again today, but you have never seen fear like you would have seen in me. I mean, it was unbelievable, but I knew I wanted to be successful. And unless I conquered that fear, I was not going to see success. So will you do the work that it takes? Will you persevere and make yourself keep going on, working on the character, keeping your eye on the ball? Will you see changes as necessary and just minor inconveniences here and there? Or will you fight against the flow for all the reasons I described? Don't let anything stop you, and don't fret those storms. They're inevitable, and so is your success if you refuse to quit. As I was spending my quiet time this morning, I was thinking about that song, Till the Storm Passes By. And there's a part of it, the first part of it, that says, in the dark of the midnight, how have I often hid my face, while the storm howls above me, and there's no hiding place. Mid the crash of the thunder, precious Lord, hear my cry. Keep me safe till the storm passes by. We're going to see a lot of storms physically, you know, in real time here in Virginia over the farm. But you know what? We'll endure that. My protector's in place, right? The most important storms are those that we go through in life and business and relationships. Some of them are minor, just inconveniences and nuisances when you look at the bigger picture. Some of them are more challenging, but it really doesn't matter what that storm is. I want you to never forget the storm has a purpose and you can persevere. So it all comes down to not the storm, but how you handle the storm. So I hope you've enjoyed the message today on the storm. I hope you have a beautiful sunny day someplace. And if it rains day after day like it is in Virginia, rest assured it has a purpose. You guys go make it a blessed day. I'll see you at the top. See you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.